Big Apple, 3 a.m.
Pizza time. Pizza time.
Alley Cat Blues. Sewer surface.
Pizza time. Pizza time.
Technodrome. Let's kick shout.
Pizza time. Pizza time.
Prehistoric pterosaur. Skull and crossbones.
Pizza time.
Bury my shell at Wounded Knee. Neon Knight Riders.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time.
Starbase, where no turtle has gone before. final shell shock.